This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by one of our more regular guests in talent relations for Probellum, Sam Jones. Sam, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you, Daniel. How are you?
I'm great. It's nice to be able to talk to you coming off a show for a change,
Yeah,
your show,
yeah.
and very well received by all accounts. Sonny Edwards, my old pal, retained his world title in the main event. Took a few more shots than we used to seeing. Some would say that's karma, not me, of course. But congratulations to him. A very good performance. You must have been delighted.
Yeah, listen, Sonny's an excellent fighter, and he's arguably the most talented fighter in the UK. He is. Like his record proves that. I think that's the third defense of his IBF. I think third. I think that's the third defense of his IBF title. So you can only say great things about Sonny, and I think he chose to fight in the pocket as well. Like, it wasn't because he was tired or anything like that. It's just because he's able to do it. And it might have looked different on TV, but when you're up close, he was comfortable in there, Danny. Like, he said to me afterwards, he goes, the hardest punches he was receiving was on his arms. Alvarado was hitting his arms. So, but I think he's the best flyweight in the world, Danny. I think he really is a special fighter, and I think he'll get a super fight next.
And who will that super fight be against? Are we looking at Bam? Are we looking at Julio Martinez?
I don't know. Julio Cesar Martinez messed Sonny around last time. Sonny was in camp for him, spending money on sparring partners, and then at the final hour, Martinez lost his cojones. You know what I mean? Oh. So I don't know. Bam seems like the fight that Sonny wants, and to be fair, he wants him. He wants him himself.
Yeah, Bam is obviously on a great run of form. I guess the flip side of it is, what's the draw for Bam? Like, if you're heading towards superstardom, which isn't easy to achieve at the lighter weights, why would you go in with someone who very likely could have the style to beat you?
I don't know. Bam's moved down in weights, hasn't he now? So that's the biggest fight to make. That's the biggest fight to make. I know people would probably say, "Oh no, it's not," but Sonny's the biggest name, I think, in the division. I think he is. I think he talks the loudest, he delivers, and listen, he says what he's going to do. And Sonny will fight anybody as well. Like, he will legitimately fight anybody, and that kind of fighter should be respected, in my opinion.
How difficult is it matching someone like Sonny? Not just because he's in the lighter weights, but because with the style he has, he's either going to beat the touted fighter, or he's going to make him look bad, or likely both.
When you watch him up close, like, it must. I was saying ringside the other day. I was thinking, how annoying must it be to fight someone like him? It's like if you had a handful of Skittles, you couldn't hit him with one. Yeah, you couldn't hit him. You couldn't hit him with one. But it's very, very frustrating. And listen, people overlook the fact that Sonny's really tough as well. Like, he's really, really dog tough. Like, he's standing in there. You're saying you should have heard the thudding shots from Alvarado. Alvarado is a big puncher. You could hear the shots. And Sonny was taking him fine. He wasn't remotely hurt. His engine was fantastic. And he clearly lives the life, Sonny. Needs a lot of credit.
Now, his wasn't the only great performance on the card. Shabazz Masood caught the eye with a final round stoppage of Jack Bates, and it seems like he's knocking him out as he goes up in class, which is usually a good sign for kind of hope for the world stage.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I watched that fight back, because I've watched it once, right, that fight, and I thought the fight was pretty close. I thought it was pretty close, but I had Shabazz just sorry. I had Shabazz just edging he had the final say in a lot of the exchanges. Shabazz just looked that one step a little bit ahead at the time. But Jack Bateson's a fantastic fighter, Danny, and those two deserve, like I said it so many times, those two deserve so much credit for fighting each other at this stage in their career. And Jack Bateson will come again, but Shabazz, everybody saw the class of Shabazz, and I'm looking forward to see how his career develops, because he's a fantastic fighter, Shabazz. And they're two of the loveliest guys you will ever meet, Jack and Shabazz. They really are.
Well, this weekend we see a European title fight at Super Bantam with Baluta and Liam Davis. Yeah,
looking forward to that. Looking forward to that fight. It's a cracking fight, that is, because Baluta always is on a good fight. So looking forward to that.
Queensbury seems to have a bit of a monopoly domestically in that division, apart from Shabazz, of course. How do you get him into that mix? Or do you want him in that
Shabazz,
mix?
listen, Shabazz would fight any of those. Would fight any of those guys. That's another thing. Like, I'm not just saying this, but he's another one that would literally fight anybody. Like, the easiest person in the world to match will fight anybody. If it makes sense, Shabazz will fight them, no problem. So, listen, there's a whole heap of talent in domestically, full stop in that division. So let's hope all these fights can get made. But we've got no problem making a fight over that side with for Shabazz. No problem at all.
And would you back him at this stage against the likes of Baluta, Davis, Brad Foster?
Yeah, 100%. No disrespect to those guys, but yeah, I would back him to beat them all for sure.
Which makes him kind of on the fringes of world class then.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Ben spends a lot of time, more time with Shabazz than what I do. But I've known Shabazz a long time. He used to train in Derby not too long ago. Shabazz. I've always known what a talent he is, and listen, he's put his skills on display the other night, and Shabazz still reckons he's got many gears to go through. So I'm really looking forward to it. But Shabazz, it was a real coming out party for Shabazz. That was. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. We didn't just see your show over the weekend. There was a show, can we call it a boxing show, maybe, on Sunday in Dubai. Floyd Mayweather stopping Deji in an exhibition. I didn't think you could stop people in an exhibition, but hey, he's always breaking new ground, Mayweather. What did you make of that show as a whole?
Danny, right? I wasn't aware it was a pay-per-view, genuinely, until because I thought it. And then I just started, and I was going to watch it. Do you know what I mean? I thought, oh, it's nothing else. It's a Sunday, going to watch it. But then I just heard about all these fights falling through. The main fight I was looking forward to was the Harley Ben fight, because I heard it was a proper good fight. And I like Harley as well, so I wanted to support him and see and watch him fight. But then that fight got called off. Then I heard Tommy Fury was having an exhibition. It turned out to be a bit of a shit show, didn't it? To be honest with you. I think everyone should admit that it was awful. I mean, Danny, Floyd Mayweather is one of my favourite fighters of all time. Him, Naz, and Lennox. Yeah, favourite fighters of all time. But I have no interest in watching Floyd Mayweather fight Deji or have a spar with him. I'm just not, mate. I don't care about any of that. So, and I mean this, like, well, I know people say, oh, no, he's probably not. I was going to watch the Harley Ben fight and turn it off.
Until you found out it was pay-per-view.
Yeah. I'm not, listen, I'll pay for all the pay-per-views really in boxing, because I'm a boxing fan at the end of the day, but I'm not paying to watch Floyd Mayweather fight Deji.
What did you make of the whole, you mentioned Tommy Fury's fight falling out of bed, or at least him fighting an exhibition as it turned out.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to fight Paul Bamba. We've had him on the channel yesterday, Bamba, talking about how it was all set up and then they had different weights that they had to adhere to, different contracts apparently. It just seems very badly organised at best, if we're ignoring some of the more kind of spurious allegations that have come out. What did you make of that when you heard about what had happened?
I don't know. Tommy Fury has a lot of cancelled fights, doesn't he? Like, whether it's no fault of his own, whether he's just had a run of bad luck, but he's had a lot of, I think that's his third straight cancellation? I don't know. Like he's had 2 Jake Paul cancellations and that one, or it's definitely 3 out of 4. So I don't know. He said he was due to make he made his contractual weight. Listen, Tommy Fury is, do you know what I mean? Physique wise, he's in great shape. He obviously works very hard. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know whether it was, it must have been a contractual mix-up. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to see Tommy Fury obviously fight Jake Paul, but then if he has any aspirations to be a good fighter, and by the way, he's another one that used to train in Derby as well, Tommy Fury. I've seen Tommy spar like many times. Tommy can fight. He's not shit. Do you know what I mean? I know people say like he's this and he's that, but Tommy can fight. You know what I mean? And he's got say bloodline. He's got a good bloodline, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like you've got this, they know how to fight in that family. So
Tommy Uso.
Yeah, I would like to see Tommy fight Jake Paul, because I am interested in that fight. I know many people are lying saying they're not, but believe me, if that fight gets made, you're watching it. So looking forward to that. If that happens, then I want to see him develop as a prospect should. Go back to basics and develop as a prospect should, and keep developing. But because so far it's been it's just been shambolic, the whole thing. Like is Tommy's last year as a pro has been shambles. But whether it's his fault of his own, who knows? But let's see him develop like a prospect should.
And if they fight in February, him and Jake Paul, I think Jake said they've got till the end of the week for a signed contract before it's off the table. Who would you fancy to win?
You know what? We were discussing this on my podcast the other day with Josh Windass and Dave Colwell. And
Smooth plug. That's what we like.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Subscribe now. Ball and Brawl, subscribe now. Latest episode is on there. No, but all seriousness, I would back. By the way, I speak to BJ Flores quite a bit, right? I've known him a long, long time. And he insists that Tommy Fury would get knocked out within 4 rounds against Jake Paul. Insists. He said he'd put his professional career on it. Like he insists. I personally, I mean, I like get on very well with BJ, but I just can't see how somebody who's been boxing a year or so gonna be beating somebody that's grown up scrapping. Do you understand what I mean? So I would favour Tommy Fury in that fight, but I would also say that Jake Paul is both of their biggest tests.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I would say that both of their biggest tests, I think you could argue Jake's had the better of opponents out of the two. With Anderson Silva, like, I mean, has Tommy Fury beaten anybody? I know Anderson Silva's like 60 years old, but has Tommy Fury beaten anybody better than that? Probably
he's
not.
Only beaten one person with a winning record, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So you could argue Jake's had the better pro career. So far, it sounds crazy saying that, but it's probably true.
Well, we shall see. Hopefully, that actually takes place in February, and maybe not on a Global Titans card. But yeah, moving on from that. We found out it was either this morning or yesterday that the IBF have ordered their world heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk. Obviously, it's not the only belt he's got, to defend next against Filip Hrgović. And someone put an interesting question. I say interesting. I answered it pretty quickly, but on
what you was about to say then, that IBF have ordered it for Ellie Scotney, because I know Ellie's been ordered to face the champion.
Shanika Johnson, yeah. I'll get to that. Now you've reminded me. But yeah, so they've ordered Usyk to fight Hrgović, and someone put on Twitter, what's the fight you're looking forward to more? That, if it happens, or Fury Chisora 3? Now, I have said almost immediately Usyk Hrgović, because although it's a mismatch, we haven't seen it before. What do you think?
I don't think you can call it a mismatch, Danny. I don't think you can call... Listen, Filip Hrgović is a dangerous man, yeah? I've seen videos of him destroying top-level heavyweights in sparring.
I agree. But his last fight, he looked pretty
right, his last fight was not great and arguably could have gone either way. But his dad died a few months earlier. So let's give Hrgović the benefit of the doubt rather than everybody saying, oh, he's shit, because Zhang's a good fighter, by the way. I thought Zhang was useless. And I ate my words. I thought Zhang was literally a big, stiff, useless heavyweight. And Zhang's got some fight in him. Zhang's a good fighter. I just think Hrgović had an off night, which everybody's entitled to do, yeah? This is the problem. In boxing, Danny, if somebody has an off night or they lose, they're shit. They're shit. They should retire. Do you know what I mean? They're useless. But imagine...
Which camera do I look at?
Yeah, but imagine in other top-level sport, tennis on a Grand Slam, like Djokovic loses to like someone that's ranked 27th. Oh, he should retire. Yeah, but it just doesn't happen. So in boxing, it's just so shit that people say, oh, he's used. I'm not saying you did, but I'm just using it as an example. Hrgović is an Olympic bronze medalist, yeah, and he'll fight anyone as a pro. Some respect for Filip Hrgović. He's a dangerous motherfucker, Filip Hrgović, and will cause Usyk problems. I'm not saying he beat Usyk, because not many will, but he's a big, horrible bastard that will cause problems.
So looking forward to that a lot more then than Fury Chisora 3.
Yeah, listen, I've a lot of people have asked me about the Fury Chisora thing over and over again. I've said what I need to say about that fight. It's not a bad fight. It's not a terrible fight. It's just because we've seen it before. Do you understand what I mean? This fight is new, and listen, if it happens, then great. But I think the world want to see the undisputed fight. The world want to see the undisputed fight. And listen, Hrgović is Hrgović, and the people that work for Hrgović have a duty to deliver for Hrgović. And if that's going to take precedence over the undisputed, then so be it. That means the promoters have done a good job for Hrgović. But as a boxing fan, I want to see Usyk against Tyson Fury. And then the winner of that fight take on your challengers like your Joe Joyces, your Hrgovićes, and all your number one contenders in the governing bodies. But let's see the undisputed first, and hopefully that can happen. But I'm a big fan of Hrgović. I like Filip Hrgović. He's a mate of mine. I like him and I wish him well. But sorry, Filip, I do want to see the undisputed over your fight first, and then I want to see you get your opportunity.
Fury said earlier this week that it'd be, I don't want to, I'm not quoting him directly, but vaguely, that it would be a travesty if he and AJ never meet, you know, two best British heavyweights of their era. Does he want AJ more than he wants Usyk for the undisputed? Because he when he talks about it, he never seems as keen on Usyk as...
No, I think it's because, right, I have to say, someone like Wilder against AJ would probably do bigger numbers than Fury Usyk. Do you understand what I mean? Because there's spike there. It's in UK, America, that kind of thing. It's not. I would be so excited to watch that fight. I mean, Usyk Tyson Fury is enormous, and I'd be so excited to watch, but I would be like equally as excited to watch Wilder AJ for different reasons. Do you understand what I mean? So I think Tyson is. Listen, Tyson, he is. I know he says, oh, I'm not on social media, but Tyson watches stuff. Tyson sees stuff, and he sees people go, oh, why is he fighting Derek Chisora? He just wants to give his mate a payday. Let them get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Let them get on with it. If Tyson Fury fights Usyk next year, Wilder rematch again, an AJ or Joe Joyce, no one's going to say shit, are they? No one's going to say shit. So let him have his fight with Derek. Let Derek get paid. Let them fill up the Tottenham Stadium. Let Derek, because it's probably, listen, by the way, it could be Derek Chisora's last fight. And what a fighter he's been over the years. Literally will fight anybody. Warrior. So let Derek have his moment. Let him have a stadium fight. I'm happy for Derek Chisora. Let him earn his dough. Let him ride off into the sunset. And if he puts on a good performance, I'm sure he'll be back again to fight somebody else. War Chisora.
But in your view, does Tyson Fury want that Usyk fight as much as the others? Yeah,
he does. But I just think Tyson just thinks he'll batter him. I just think Tyson thinks he's literally better than him. Because look, you've got a great boxer in Alexander. In fact, I'll scrap that. A phenomenal boxer in Alexander Usyk. But then you've got Tyson Fury, another phenomenal boxer, but double the size of him. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think Tyson Fury is a massive favourite in that fight because styles make fights. Styles make fights. So let's see how it plays out. But it can't be any shitter than the year 2022, can it? For like fights not happening. So everything's going to be probably better than this year. Let's hope all these big fights happen. I mean, we've waited for Crawford Spence for 10 years. And we're getting, do you know what I mean? We're getting something else. Let's Ryan Garcia against Tank. AJ Fury, AJ Wilder, Tyson Fury Usyk, Tyson Fury Joe Joyce, AJ Joe Joyce. All these big fights, let's see them happen. I want to see Devin Haney against Shakur Stevenson. Now, these are fights I want to see, Danny. I'm a boxing fan before anything else, by the way. I want to see listen, I'm involved in boxing, right? But all I want to do is be a part of making great fights and making top fights. That's what gives me energy and gives me motivation to be in boxing, because I just want to be. I'm a fan. I'm an excitable fan. I want to see all these big fucking fights happen, Danny.
You're certainly excitable, Sam Jones, and that's why one of the many reasons why we like having you on this channel. Really, really appreciate your time. I'm going to go and get someone to edit this so we can get it up nice and quick, which is how everyone likes it. And I appreciate it. And let's chat again soon.
Take care, Daniel. Goodbye.
And you, mate. Take care.